WRJJ television to hear from the candidates in the presidential debate, Barack Obama and Mitt Romney.
It should be an exciting day full of American spirit.
Let's meet our candidates.
I am Barack Obama.
I am Mitt Romney.
Hello, Mr. President.
Hello.
Welcome to the 2012 presidential debates. Let's get started on the topic of education. Governor Romney, how do you plan to make a change in the supposed failing education system in the United States if you are elected in office?
Julia, I believe that education is a civil right. I also believe that the key to change in local schools is allowing parents and communities to have a greater influence. Hopefully this will lead to parents supporting their children, which will reduce the need for student loans. I believe that all good teachers should be rewarded with higher salary. And I believe that former President Bush was headed in the right direction with No Child Left Behind Act. Should I be elected, I would limit the control of education that the federal government holds.
President Obama, thoughts?
Well, Julia, I think we've got to invest in education and training, and I've said this all across the country when I talk to people about education. I do not support the No Child Left Behind Act, instated by former President Bush. I believe that the No Child Left Behind goals are the right ones. We know that making a promise to educate every child with an excellent teacher is right. That's why I've created the Race to the Top, which has rewarded many states with billions of dollars for supporting education policies I haven't stated. We've got to make a change in the system and improve it for future generations.
Now on to the topic of immigration. Governor Romney, what is your stance on immigration?
Well, I believe that illegal immigrants should not have the education benefits of the American people. I don't believe that we should offer legal status to illegal immigrants attending college, but I do believe that immigrants working in the armed forces deserve those benefits. When I am put in office, I plan to establish a verification service so illegal immigrants cannot be employed, and to end visa caps for spouses and children of legal immigrants.
Mr. President?
Julia, when I'm President of the United States, I will continue to work as hard as possible to make sure that children of illegal immigrants will get the rights that they deserve. During my last 4 years in office, I issued a directive that stated that immigrants brought illegally to the U.S. as children be exempted from deportation and granted work permits. I stand by this initiative today, and I'm still committed to creating a path to citizenship for young illegal immigrants enrolled in college or enlisted in the armed forces.
Governor Romney, if you were to take office, you have expressed your views on cutting Obamacare. What is your plan for health care if Obamacare is replaced?
After repealing the law for universal health care, I would focus on giving states the decision on what the uninsured should do. My plan would return health care to how it was before Obamacare and people who already have coverage. States will be able to regulate local insurance markets and care for the population accordingly. I will encourage alternative insurance plans and empower consumer choice through educating our population on their choices for healthcare.
But what about all the people who can't afford health care? What happens to them?
Well, it'll be up to the states to care for the poor and uninsured. That way, the states can reform according to individual issues.
Mr. President, thoughts?
As an American, I believe that our government should care for the well-being of our citizens. By promoting universal coverage, insurance companies cannot deny covering ill people and premiums will be subsidized. Businesses will get help for offering insurance and consumers will be protected from insurance company abuses. Universal healthcare will create equal costs for men and women and hold insurance companies accountable so that they will never again drop coverage when people get sick. This will help Medicaid expand.
The problem with that, Mr. President, is that we don't have funds for such health care. It is a known fact that you've taken $700 billion out of Medicare funds to help pay for Obamacare.
Governor, these cuts go to benefiting working-age Americans and extending the life of trust funds. Our country suffers from insurance abuses that can be regulated and stopped by this program. Every year, millions of dollars are lost due to insurance fraud.
All right, let's move on. Energy and environment is a hot topic in our world. Governor, what do you believe about energy?
I believe that the U.S. should become independent of energy sources outside of North America. We have plenty of oil, gas, and coal resources right where we live. I approve of the pipeline from Canada and opening continental shelves for drilling.
Although my opponent makes some good points, I believe that we should cut our oil imports and spend money on green energy. It's better for our environment.
We're going to take a quick break to change moderators and let our candidates get some water.
And we're back. Okay, let's continue on to the focus topic of Medicare. Governor Romney, what is your plan to restore the efficiency of Medicare?
Besides gradually increasing the age of eligibility to 67, I will introduce subsidies for retirees to join a government-based plan of private insurance. I would in turn reverse Obama's Medicare cuts and help our hospitals get out of debt. For seniors nearing retirement now, no changes will be made. Although I will not be enforcing coverage for everyone, lower income seniors will receive more generous support while wealthier seniors receive less.
Mr. President?
Jenna, unlike my opponent, if re-elected, I would ensure Medicare that seniors can rely on. The governor plans to give vouchers for people so that they can get Medicare. I plan on ensuring it for all. Under Romney's plan, 6 out of 10 Medicare beneficiaries would pay higher premiums.
I still plan on ensuring Medicare for those who apply, but how do you plan on keeping Medicare efficient by cutting $700 billion from the program?
Governor, first of all, we did not cut $700 billion from the program. We moved it to help provide health insurance to working-age Americans. It helps to remove co-pays and covers high prescription costs.
But what does that have to do with Medicare efficiency?
By helping our working class, we plan to extend the life of these programs and their trust funds.
Getting feisty. Mr. President, how do you plan to deal with Social Security long-term financial problems?
Well, Jenna, I'm committed to protecting and strengthening Social Security for future generations. I refuse to get rid of benefits for current retirees, and I have proposed a plan to reduce annual increases.
I plan to protect people over the age of 55, but for the next generation, I will raise the retirement age. The growth rate should be lower for those with higher incomes, but benefits should continue to grow.
Governor, please address your planned tax cuts. Try to be specific.
I plan to make permanent 20% cuts. For the wealthiest, taxes will be cut from 35% to 28%, and the lower tax rates will be cut to 8% instead of 10%. I plan to eliminate capital gains tax for families making below $200,000. We must stimulate entrepreneurship, investment, and job creation.
How do you plan to cover the cost, Governor?
If elected, I plan to reduce tax rates and work with Congress to eliminate some deductions. This will help to make up for revenue loss.
Well, I plan to keep the taxes on the wealthy, but I will create tax cuts for everyone who makes up to $200,000 or $250,000 for couples. In 2010, I agreed to a 2-year extension of lower rates. Any household that makes more than $1 million every year should pay larger taxes than a middle-class family pays. I plan to invest in education and manufacturing for the middle class. Through a plan that balances spending cuts and revenue, I will reduce the deficit by more than $4 trillion over the next decade.
Candidates, going off what we said before, in terms of the U.S. debt crisis and the American economy, how will you plan to solve this growing issue? Mr. President?
Well, my plan to help America climb its way out of debt is to raise taxes on certain parts of society and working to create more job opportunities for Americans. As I said before, a step in the right direction includes raising taxes on householders that earn more than $250,000 a year and increasing taxes by at least 30% for people with an income over $1 million a year. By raising taxes on these groups of Americans, it will bring us out of debt without the cost of livelihoods. I also plan to create more jobs in America by eliminating tax breaks for companies that outsource jobs overseas. Along with creating more jobs in America, I plan to double exports, which will help to create over 1 million manufacturing jobs.
Governor Romney, your views on these crises.
Unlike the president, I plan on raising taxes on the middle class and giving the wealthy new tax cuts that benefit them. Along with raising these taxes, I plan on increasing the spending for military purposes and reversing cuts in Medicare by billions. In the end, I plan to cut $500 billion from the federal budget per year by 2016. This is what is going to help fix America's debt crisis by bringing our spending below 20%, which will balance the U.S. economy by 2020. I also plan to turn Medicare into a voucher system, along with reversing the student loan reform, which will roll back investments in community colleges. These adjustments will help our economy thrive if I am to be elected president.
That brings us to our closing statements. There was a coin toss. Governor Romney, you won the toss, and you elected to go last. President Obama?
First of all, I want to thank everyone who is watching today. By electing me as president, I will ensure strong leadership and a commitment to the American people.
And Governor, your closing statement?
Thank you, Jenna and Mr. President. If elected president, I promise to get America back on path and restore our great country.
Thank you for tuning in to BRJJ Television. This was the first presidential debate with candidate Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. Thank you, America.
Thank you. This was wonderful. It was.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you so
let's
much.
get up.
Oh.
Nice pants.
They're just
You can't bro hug. Do that again. Hello, Mr. President. Hello, Mr. President.
All right, we're getting a little feisty. Mr. President. All right, getting a little feisty. All right, getting a little feisty. Mr. President, stop. All right, we're getting a little feisty. So, Mr. President, how do you plan to deal with society's security long-term financial problems? Hey, getting feisty. Mr. President, how do you plan to deal with society? All right, getting feisty. Mr. President, how do you plan to deal with Social Security long-term?
Shut up!
Governor, please plan. Oh, give me a break.
Oh my god, this wig is so itchy.